So I'm going to explain my Chair of Thorns system. Hopefully I'll be able to see some of your comments. I'll try and put this off to the side here so I can watch. Yeah, there we go. So this system got started when, what was it, PANS 2014 or so. I had just done an analysis on Keenan and his pre-lapel stuff. So I kind of like loosely knew him on the internet, but I was with Nolan, who's one of my students, young kid, juvenile world champion, and we ran into Keenan, and it was like super awkward because Keenan, especially around this time, was a little awkward, and I'm awkward because I'm talking to somebody who I admire a lot. And Keenan's just looking to make conversation, and he goes to Nolan and I and goes, I actually haven't told anybody this, but I've developed this whole new lapel system. And he described it to me as, I'm going to do like the Tanquinho sweep, but instead of just feeding the lapel under his leg, I'm going to feed it around mine. And I was like, oh, I get it, which I really didn't. But then he went out there like 5 minutes later, and I watched him beat Murillo. And the kind of funny thing is that nobody really noticed after the competition. It wasn't like everybody recognized the value of it and started practicing it. I didn't find that out until really Worlds, actually, because he was able to do it again against Leandra with like complete domination. So nobody was really paying attention in that period from PANS to Worlds. And it wasn't until BJJ Scout did the video of the breakdown on the Murillo game, which happened well after the fact, that people really started paying attention. So there's a little history of it. So when I saw Keenan do it, I immediately then understood what the heck he was doing. And I started being creative with the lapel myself, because he kind of showed me the door, and I opened it and walked through it. So I started experimenting a lot with the lapel, and I would share with Keenan my experimentation. So this video that you see on the left was a private video that I just made for Keenan, and I related this whole position to, he was like really big on the pancake guard, if you guys remember that. So basically my idea in the beginning of this was to make like a worm pancake. So that's why I described it here. And then the Chair of Thorns position. So I'm kind of stalling, hoping to get more viewership as well, but it's a cool story. And I can see what you guys are writing. Obviously, you can see my screen capture here. So I sent him this video, which includes the whole system here. You can see the kind of the positions you're about to see, where you're able to sit upright. For example, maybe the reverse hook sweep, where you're able to sweep them over. So yes, this was the one that outlined the whole system. It's actually largely unchanged. So I don't know date-wise how long I'd been experimenting with it, but several months at least, like probably 4 to 6 months, something like that, given like how much I knew in that position. So the level that it's been used, Keenan actually used this for the first time that really anybody's used it at the black belt level. We've had a few brown belts try it. But I'm going to get in trouble for this. This is why it's only live. So this is Keenan this last World Championships. His first match was super hard. So he passes the leg over, gets into the system, rolls. He does a forwards roll here, recovers. Here he can go Chair of Thorns, but he hooks the leg and then does the reverse hook sweep and gets on top. Now let me explain. Hang on, it's a little awkward to get on top, but he eventually does. I'll just let you watch it. So let me explain a little bit how Keenan's mind works. Keenan is kind of like the type of guy where you show him just like a little bit, and he's like, okay, I get it. Yeah, you don't need to really explain it too terribly much. So I'm sure Keenan will debate that I showed it to him, but this is the exact same type of thing that I showed him in this video, as you can see. But he really adopted it. He did it to a lot of his training partners, and some of his training partners were complaining. Training partners you've heard of. Hey, my little girl's right here. Do you want to say hi, Emma? Nah, you can't see her. So I rolled on this position this morning. So, I've only had one day to accrue some footage on it. But let's take a look. So let me make it a little smaller so I can see what you guys... Let me pause it. I want to see if you guys have any questions, which I'm sure you do. There, that's perfect. So this starts out with a good blue belt. Just standard pulling guard off the sleeve, establishing collar and sleeve, and then opening the lapel. That's kind of boring. Question from Jern Tran. Does it give up... and I can't read it. You can see what I see. I'm an advantage. Are you asking? Hang on. Let me see what you're asking. Does it give... So I'm not really sure an advantage when you're kind of in the turtle briefly. It's actually pretty hard to get the turtle advantage because you have to be on all fours. Like go to the IBJJF rule book. Oh, my little girl might not let me do this right now. You have to go on all fours, and he has to have a back clinch for the advantage, but you're kind of playing with fire somewhat. So good question. The points of a lot of the stuff that I'm doing have not been established by the top referees. You'd really need to do it at the black belt level when those precedent-setting referees are being the refs, so you can see how some of these would be awarded points or not, because it's pretty ambiguous at the moment. So very good question. All right, so I'm just opening the lapel. You might get a little bit of baby talk in here because she's sitting on my lap, being very good. Now, here's where I start the system. You pass the leg over. Now, usually if they're standing, which is less than ideal, I usually like to control the, she's reaching for the keyboard. I like to control the pants and actually put the foot on the hip, so I have a little distance management so I can control how they kind of enter in the position, but it's not super important. So there. As long as I get him to pass to my right, to his left, we're all good. And since I have two legs preventing him to passing right, they usually don't even attempt to try. So as he passes, I try and get up. And as you can see, he 2-on-1s my leg, which is pretty cool because it makes it so it's difficult to get up. Now, this guard is weird because you don't care so much if they pass your guard or try and take your back. So if you're somebody who's really good at getting your back taken and your guard passes, guard is for you. So here I get up, but I can't get up all the way, so I sit back down. And when I sit back down, there is the potential for the reverse hook sweep if his knee is down. But you still lift anyway. And then, again, you turn away from him at every opportunity, building up your base on this hand. And it's very hard for him to come around fully because when you place the lapel around your leg like that, you're really controlling his back to a great degree. Here his knee is down, so I thought about the reverse hook sweep there for a moment. He's kind of being timid on the pass, so I have a little time. There I get up, and it's, again, hard to get up. So you're kind of playing with your guard passed, basically. It's kind of an interesting way to play. And it's challenging to get up because he's trying to control my leg. They always try and control the leg. Then I just basically try and turn away from him. It's like the opposite rules of jiu-jitsu. There I'm able to sit. So his hand is in a funky place, so I have a very clear path to his back because he was trying to control me from getting upright. So I'm able to just walk around, keeping on the lapel as much as I can. He tries to roll so he doesn't get his back taken. My wonderful little girl, Emma, is pointing to me and letting you all know that it's me. Thomas, you were working this yesterday. Very good. I would recommend not using this in a tournament until you have like the complete system down. And the complete system is when they take your back, you have to be very comfortable, and then when they start to get around your legs a little bit more. Hey, Michael Sheehan, how you doing? So another little clip here. So I did 7-minute rounds, 2 rounds I'm going to show you. I did it as much as I possibly could so you can see kind of the variation. So he gets on top, basically kind of like a diving leg drag potential like situation, but I have the lapel. Now I scoot back, and as he's driving in, I'm scooting back, and I'm able to stand up because there's a lot of space there. Now here, from this position, as I get up, I can throw my entire weight onto the lapel, or I can just resit if that's not working out. Now here he tries to reverse double leg me. So I just sit on top of him. If I'm able to sit lower, I'm going to be able to take his back, just putting your hooks in over his arms, which would be one advantage. You have to free one arm. And I don't really care if he takes me down. So here he takes me down. But this is like the worst thing for him, because when he takes me down, he's like jiggled loose the position, and now I can really turn quite quickly and then sit on the lapel hard. So then I sit, walk, and do that standard chair of thorns. He rolls to try and recover because his back is exposed, and then I get side control. And then, okay, Thomas, let me see what you wrote. A lot of people were dropping to their hands and knees and trying to find a way out of it. Yeah, that's exactly what you want. So if you're sitting on the lapel and then they're on all fours, you basically keep the lapel, kind of work your way, kind of like what just happened. Let me back up, Tom. So here he's more or less in the same position. He's like on his hands and knees. And I just basically, with my right hand, get an underhook, if you want to call it that, or around his back, however you want to think about it, and then fix my legs, and then he just tries to roll from there. She really likes her daddy doing chair of thorns, huh? Say yeah. She got shy. Okay, so another one here. Get the lapel, and I pass the leg over. At about this time, you've done it a few times, your partners start to get a little frustrated. They might not even pass your guard. And as I start, the beginning stages of the turn, you noticed how I have the hook in between his legs. That gives me a lot of options to sit the other way hard for a reverse hook sweep or something. And he's doing what a lot of people do. This is, going to slow you down a lot, is controlling that bottom leg. And you don't really care, as long as you're able to get on your elbow or your hand, even better. So you notice the situation here, and I noticed it too, where their head tends to be like in your crotch because they're trying to drive forward, but they can't make their way around. Just kind of be aware of that. So here I'm kind of faking like I'm getting up. I have a couple options. Sit back hard. You can recover worm guard from here. See, this position you shouldn't mind at all, and they're going to take your back, but you actually kind of want them to take your back, sit crab ride. As long as you go left, you're okay. Nobody did that, but if I was rolling with like Paulo or Joao or Taliesin or something, they would definitely try that. So here's the example. If you sit on the lapel, but they just get their base too much, then you're able to hook around. You see how I hooked? And then you can resit back into the worm. But I'm really not trying to work worm here, so I really didn't want to do that so much. I just kind of kick out his leg, swipe out his leg, and then get on top. So I didn't want to be a prolonged stuck in the worm, because everybody's seen the worm before. So you can use that as a nice recovery. Let me see if my little girl can. Here, Emma, do you want to play with Daddy's ID? Oh, that's pretty cool. Ooh, it worked. It worked. Don't say anything. Okay. So again, I get the lapel, palm down, pass the leg over. Hello, Paul and Tim and Juan. And again, you notice that he's a little bit more tentative about passing because he doesn't want to get caught. So I just kind of like come up and then sit. Now he's trying to basically reverse single leg me. How many wrestlers do you know have a really great single leg against like this position? Well, wrestlers are going to be good, but they're just not experienced in this. And he's also trying to fight the lapel. So here you have a lot of weight on him. So it's pretty cool to just chill and let his grips tire. And I pry it off, or at least I'm trying to. Now I've pretty well converted into the standard chair. I pry it off. And then again, he does that standard thing because he doesn't want his back taken. He tries to roll. But of course, I'm really ready for the roll in this case. Tom, nice. I was walking forward when they had a good base. Yes, you always walk forward. You don't just sit on the lapel. You walk forward like crab walk style. It's almost like a pro wrestling move. Okay. Another one. From the same roll, I'm able to average maybe like one every 45 seconds if I try. And I'm not really going 100% because it's morning and it's pretty cold in Southern California. Now, this situation is incredibly common. Now, he's trying another idea. He's trying to feed the lapel around and see if that can help him in some way. But as he tries to come around, he's not able to get his posture because, look, my leg is hammering down on the lapel and it's like stiff legging. See how I hammer down? So this brings his head very close. And you want to like hammer down this leg when his head is low, and you want to be seated upright. I call this position the throne. So it's chair of thorns, but this is the throne because you're sitting on your throne. And then from here, I'm thinking about doing what I think I eventually got in this series. I didn't want to give it away too much. He's driving in, and I'm just using my hand to scoot back. I thought about going to the chair there, but this lapel being fed around is going to interrupt the chair. So I'm really thinking about the crown of thorns. Let's see if I can hit the crown of thorns. Maybe it's not this one because I'm squaring up with him and recovering. So you can see how this would give you the ability to recover. There's the crown of thorns. So the crown of thorns is like, this sucks if you're on top. So when their head's bearing in, you switch the lapel to the other hand. So my right hand was originally holding it. And then I switch over the top of his head, and I think of like doing a bread cutter choke to the back of his neck. Hey, Josh, how you doing? So bread cutter choke to the back of his head. Now, if you're super bony like me, sometimes you can get the tap here, but it's extremely difficult to get the tap. You have to be pretty bony with your thigh, and the way that it went in, it was kind of loose when it went in. But basically from here, you just kind of either do a hip bump or just get up with the assertion of the neck. And this is bad news bears for him. And here, as I'm getting up and showing my back chair of thorn style, I just grab the arm. Like, isn't that ridiculous? That's a completely ridiculous submission. And that's what makes it so amazing. But that type of armbar, that type of like sitting on the top of his back is actually pretty common. My Emma is playing with all the pencils. So if you come to the gym and you see the pencils out everywhere, now you know why. Okay, so another one against this poor soul. All right, Jern says, thanks for the response, Dan. Did anybody try to respond with X passes or leg drag when they couldn't press forward? Oh, absolutely. You don't care about leg drag. Yeah, leg drag doesn't matter at all. Yeah, you want leg drag. Like, you're in Bizarro land. You want them to leg drag you, and you want them to try and take your back. And again, you might not get 2 points for this, but if you need to get on top, like, this is good. So he tries to jump around, whatever. He's not going to do that. All right, so over the lapel. So leg drag myself. Leg drag actually kind of makes it easier to get up and show your back because you're trying to show your back. The game is opposite. He's trying to not let you show the back because if you do, you win. So here he gets around, and I'm in the throne, you see? So seated upright, but he can't make his way around. So he's trying to grab around my back. He's trying to make a way around. So I heavy leg, and then I continue to sit towards camera side up on my throne. Now, just a little bump. I lost sound. Let me make sure. Check, check, check. Yeah, okay. Everything seems to be good on my end. So Paul, I think it's on your end. So I'm getting a pretty good signal. If anybody else is losing sound, then let me know. Arturo, I have sound again. It's just your internet, Paul. So that one was actually pretty cool. So I didn't want to get distracted. Because he's trying to make the way around the back so much, you can just kind of like hadoomf up, like hip bump style up. Hip bump style up. And there you go. You have a freakish amount of control in this position. It's kind of like being in worm guard for the first time where you don't think it should be as much control as it is, but it is. Hey, Jamie. So, pull guard again. Hey, Gavin. Blah, blah, blah. Standard stuff to open the lapel. And obviously, if they're not doing anything, you could just go worm or reverse worm, and that's fine too. So there, I pass the leg over the top, and I get up on my hand. See, it's a lot easier to set up this position when they're in combat base. And this is something that Tiago Barros taught me, is like, if you don't know who Tiago Barros is, multiple-time black belt world medalist, very, very, very scary. If you have a nightmare, it should be of him on top of you. Yeah, I stopped playing this position. He like broke it. But he definitely made me a little bit more sensitive to some things. And one of those things is it's a lot better to set up this position against combat base versus a standing opponent. Here, trying to get up, and then I sit hard on the lapel. Again, just standard chair. He's trying to reverse single leg me, and I'm just walking forward, walking forward. You see how much we walked? It's not quite as apparent. Then I walk backwards, and then he rolls to avoid the back. Common theme. What if they're on both knees? Yeah, so Arturo, you basically just walk forward. if they're on both knees. You can get them very long. Okay, next roll. So that was all one roll. So that was 5 minutes of chair of thorns. My poor training partners. So purple belt outweighs me by maybe 40, 50 pounds or so. But a hobbyist. So opening up the lapel, you see the distance lapel opening, pulling guard, establishing some sort of control, blah, 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 open the lapel, palm down grip, and passing the leg over. Now, trying to show the back. And when I stood up, look, this is important. When I stood up, because he was so high, I have the sensation that sitting on the lapel won't be able to bring him down. See right here? Like I could sit on it, but it won't bring him down. So you immediately hook his hip, sit, and this gives you a really wonderful transition into the worm or reverse worm, because you don't have to do all the hard grip passing. You do it like during the sit. So I think in this case I just used worm. This was actually the first roll. I showed them out of order. So I wanted to warm up a little bit before I was really doing the gas tank, and it's a little easier to warm up in the worm. Yeah, just the kind of the standard worm, regular worm guard sweep. I'm a little bit more worm guard than Keenan is. Keenan's more reverse worm. And he sets it up inverted, and I don't do that because I like my back. So again, grab the lapel. Here I have the entrenched. Keenan for a while called this the stirrup. I don't know if he's sticking with that. So he tried to leg drag, and I stopped him. I kind of wanted to do it on my terms. I wanted to get my grip all perfect, wrap it up in a rope, and then he gets the idea to leg drag me. So this is on my terms. I build up my base on my forearm, turn my back to him, and you can see the hook going in. And then the hook was kind of my insurance if I had the right energy to do the reverse hook sweep. But I get up. Now I try and sit. See, again, you're able to just sit on their back, and then if you can sit lower and just plop yourself right into the back. Hey, Nelson. Hello, Julio. So again, hello, Felipe. How many people we have watching this? Seems like a lot. Wow, 19. That's a good amount. All right, so I throw the leg over, and I immediately start to get up. Here he's way down on the game. I'm able to sit up, right? But he's like rear naked choking my leg. Now, if this were a tournament, I should sit right back down, because at 3 seconds I could be taken down. So he does get 2 points here, but I didn't care. So because it's 3 seconds, or at least borderline 3 seconds, probably 2 points for him. But that's something you can just avoid with knowledge and caring. So here, that is the sweep that Keenan did at 2019 World Championships. Not his sweep, my sweep. Just pointing that out, as I pointed out in the beginning of the video. So watch this one again, because this one's kind of important, the reverse hook sweep. So I got the right reaction. The right reaction is they will always post their right and be down on their knee with the left. And this is, they have no base to that one side. So typically I'll switch the lapel grip, control the arm, and then lift. And you have a freakish lifting power because your lapel can pull in as you're doing the reverse hook sweep. And then you get up on top. Yeah, the analogy that I give is it's kind of like like on the machines at the gym where you're like pulling your leg, like the weight machines. It's kind of like a turbocharge there. Again, passing over, hooking his leg. There, reverse hook sweep again. And that reverse hook sweep, of course, is when right when he brought that leg down, I have some beautiful momentum to work with. I've already indeed switched my grips, anticipating it a little bit. And then lift, pull with the lapel in, and then you're able to get on top. Here, let's get banned from everything again, because some of you might have missed this. So this is Keenan from last World Championships. Doing my sweep, which is pretty cool. And the whole position in general. So again, he leg drags himself, gets up, he forwards rolls. So instead of going to the chair, I would have gone to the chair there. I don't do that forwards roll. Sometimes I shoulder roll to recover to the guard, but I don't forwards roll on top of him, like getting my legs under him. See how he got his legs underneath? Here, right after, he has the opportunity to go to the chair because he has so much space to be able to to do that right there. Right as he turns on top, this is chair moment. This is like golden chair. And also you can go to the crown of thorns from this position. You can pass it if you so like. But he hooks the leg, just like I was showing. Look at the base, knee down, leg up, and then reverse hook sweep. And then you get up kind of awkwardly in the reverse half guard. So let's not show that anymore. Copyright strike. Though that is fair use, what I did, because I was providing commentary and analysis. But that won't stop them. Hey, Emma. Emma's back. Emma, what's up? Hang on. Hang on. Hang on, Randall. All right. Nelson, I didn't see your question until now. How am I controlling the arm? I just grab it. I grab it right at the elbow. So let's see another one. This is Jern. This is really innovative. Is anybody doing some of this on the scene? Keenan's the only one that knows the system well. One of my brown belts has done it in a tournament one time. So yeah, one of the Cicero boys who's trains here. He doesn't train with at Unity or anything. But he doesn't know it quite well enough to like actually go in and do it. Some of the nuances of it still need improvement. Okay, so here I'm able to get up. He reverse single legs me. Now look. The same submission that you had earlier, you have the arm. This guy's a lot stronger than the last guy though. I didn't want to power out of it. I'm looking to try and just maybe undo my leg, and if worse comes to worse, I'm back into the chair. Like he just throws me off, I'm into the chair. So as long as I have the lapel. I'm not showing you any of the innovative stuff to the system, by the way. I have a lot more innovative stuff. I'm trying to show just like the basics of it. See, there, turn, and then instead of going to the chair, I felt like I could jump on his back, and I jumped on his back. So another one here. Getting kind of close to the end. If you've been following along from the beginning. There he tries the leg drag, but I didn't really want him to. Like, again, you want it on your terms. So you throw the leg over. I already have the hook. There's the reverse hook sweep try, but he based. So now I switch the grip back. So the regular grip, turn and give my back. He's, of course, going to try and double leg me. Here I roll, kind of like how Keenan did, but I'm using just the roll to recover back into the lapel lasso. And then from here, you're able to quickly go to the chair if you want. So that's like the space that you need to go to the chair. Or you can just set up like your worm stuff. So it kind of depends how you want to use this position. You could use this position as just a recovery, like threaten a little bit and then recover into your lapel, more standard stuff. Or you can actively seek out the position. The thing is you need people like me who are actively seeking out the position to really improve it as a defensive thing, because you need somebody exploring it like every roll like this. Like here, I'm able to get it like 6 or 7 times per roll. It's pretty easy to get, like, yeah. I have a whole thing on top as well. And I do. That's just this position. See it? There's the hallmark technique. There's the chair of thorns. And then hook. You can see that they kind of fade and get frustrated the more that you do this. Okay. Any danger of getting caught in the belly down knee bar as you put your leg in between yours? I guess anytime you put your leg in between, like, oh, go back. We had one. Belly down knee bar. Which one? Like the over-under knee bar? I don't know. I don't see how I can get knee barred here. I think you're thinking of the over-under pass knee bar, like the Bernardo Faria one that he likes to do all the time. But no, because that position needs like the over-under and hooking the leg. So maybe it could happen. I'm not saying it could happen, but it's very far from that position. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I wouldn't worry about that. There's a lot more things to worry about. Like, you shouldn't be playing this position until you have ninjas trying to take your back. And fortunately, I have a lot of ninjas here trying to take my back, so I've worked it out pretty well. Long story short, if somebody tries to sit and take your back, go left, your left. Just go left, 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 scoot left rapidly. And then they come up in a leg drag because crab ride to leg drag, right? And then when they come up to leg drag, then you chair of thorns them. That's a really cool one. So any other questions? Angelo! Angelo's the victim. No Niba. Angela's the victim in this video. No Niba. What? No Nibas? Can you leave it up for at least 10 minutes? I missed the beginning. All right, 10 minutes. All right, see you guys.